All right, grade 12, here we are. I'm going to share the curriculum choices for my son for his last year of school for the 24 through 25 homeschool year. I want to give a little bit of background, and that's why I wanted to do this video separately. So my son originally wanted to go into maybe veterinary sciences, something around that area, and then it kind of changed to maybe something in the medical, like human field. Eventually he settled on nursing. And so all of his high school years have been planned based on requirements for nursing programs at a few different universities in Canada. We kind of looked at what they required, and then we looked at how we could fill those requirements in his high school years. However, at the end of the last school year, he decided that he'd had a change of heart and he did not want to go into nursing, and he didn't know what he wanted to do. So we've been trying to help him find kind of what his path is, what he'd like to do, and at this point he's still not sure. I did ask him, did he want to just continue with the plan, and that way if he decided he wanted to continue with that he would have all the prerequisites. And because he really didn't need that many more. It was really just the advanced chemistry that he still really needed. And he said no, he didn't want to do that. So it left me in a bit of an odd position because I was trying to piece together this grade 12 year for him academically when we don't know where he's going. I don't know if he's going to community college, if he's going to go to a trade school, if he's going to go to university, or if he's going to go another path. So it's been a difficult time trying to figure out how to put his year together. I do want to mention it's very hot here right now. That's why you can hear traffic. I have to have my windows open because it's so hot. Anyways, so I felt like I needed to just give that bit of background, and kind of leading up to sharing what he's going to be using. I think I'm going to turn the camera around because it's easier to show you and you can have a look at it, because a lot of what I have here is fairly new to us. We've never used before. But I wanted to share about his English. So he completed the Good and the Beautiful up to High School 3, which is the highest level that they offer for language arts. And I looked at him doing like a community college, either in person or maybe an online through university, for just that basic first year English. And unfortunately, things like concurrent enrollment don't really exist in Canada, or I have not been able to kind of find them where we've lived. And it was looking like it was going to be about $1,200 for the one English course for one semester, and I wasn't sure he would be able to get in because of prerequisites, and homeschooling makes it a little difficult. So we kind of had to go with a plan B. My plan B was for him to do some writing and some literature analysis. I felt like as you go into university, those are the things you need to know. So if he wants to go to university, he has that already set up. He has some familiarity with it. So I gave him a wide range of options for language arts or English this year. There was doing course online in a group study where they did both writing and literature analysis, and he did not want to do anything online. So that ruled that out. He wasn't interested in like the classic books or like Shakespeare. English has never been a huge interest to him, and so I just didn't want to push, especially in his last year. He's read a lot of great books. He knows if he's interested in something, he can go pick up a Shakespeare book and read it. But I didn't want to push that. So what he landed on, I'll show you in just a minute here, and I'm feeling a little unsure about it. But we'll see how the year goes. We can always make changes if we need to. So what he ended up settling on is Oak Meadows Latin American Literature, Borders and Identity. This is the course book, and this is the high school teacher's edition. So originally he chose 2 units to do. So they would each be a semester, because this is a semester's length. But the cost was too much. I was planning to buy the online portion, but it's not truly like you get a PDF and you print it. It's just you have access for a year, and the price was almost the same as the books. And financially, that just didn't make sense. So I told him, well, which one would you rather do? Let's just go with that, and then maybe I will fill in the second semester with one of the other ones we've been looking at, like maybe from Brave Writer or something like that. So this one here, it's really interesting what he chose. It's talking about what are borders, exploring the self, identity, exploring self and others, crossing borders, exploring self and world perspectives and storytelling. So I think it's going to be really interesting. It's based on 4 books: The Poet X and The City of Beasts we'll be getting from the library. And then we have The House on Mango Street and The Other Side, and stories of Central American teen refugees with dream of crossing the border. These are the books that he'll do for that first semester. And I think it does look really interesting. Like I said, you know, my son is mixed heritage, my husband's an immigrant. There's a lot here to unpack, and I think he's going to have some interesting insight, and I think it's going to be some interesting lessons. I am a little apprehensive because I was only able to get the 1 semester's worth, and the books were so expensive, and it's not like they're writing a lot in it. So I think I'll have him do all of his work in a notebook and keep this for maybe another child. It also seems a little bit more teacher intensive than what I thought, particularly for the grade 12 level, but we'll see. We'll see how we set it up and how we use it. As always, I will do a review of it at the end of the semester when he's done with it. So this is his literature part of it and his analysis. The other portion that I'm going to have him do for language arts is a writing program. Again, he's done so much writing, but I felt like he just needed 1 more year just to be really sure. Again, I was kind of looking at this as he was going to be going to university, but I decided to have him just continue with this book anyways. A lot of it is the same as type of things he's already done, maybe a little bit more in depth. The author, this is Sharon Watson. When I read through the book and through the samples, she seems to be she's funny, and the way she puts things, I think it just puts a nice spin on it instead of being kind of the same old thing. But the reason I really like this was 2 things. One was the letters and emails. I think that that's important to learn now, and he's done a little bit, but some more would be good. But then this here, it teaches the MLA format, which if he wants to go to post-secondary, this is important to know, and it's going to give him kind of a leg up for that setting, for that writing. So there's quite a few, like analysis, processing, there's a lot of different topics here. I'll give you just a quick look through here. I've heard good things about this program, and I feel like it's going to be a good review, a little bit more in depth, and also perhaps a little entertaining. So that is going to be his language arts for his grade 12 year. So moving on to math. Joshua did pre-calculus last year. Really that's all he needed for going into nursing. He didn't have to do calculus. So I wanted him to do some kind of math this year that was going to be real life, budgeting, taxes, things like that. I looked at a few different resources, and Not Consumed Homeschool just came out with this kind of as I was looking at the different options. It's consumer math for real life. And I felt like this was a good option. It's a Christian point of view. So there's the journey, making money, banking, insurance, investing, budgeting, saving, borrowing money, housing, maintaining your home, shopping for food, cooking and baking, transportation, clothing, bargain shopping, and vacation. So there's 16 units. This is an American curriculum. So some of these units he will not be doing. Things like like our housing is slightly different, the way we do mortgages. So he'll probably do that, but we'll just have to have a chat about things that are different. Some of the investing and insurance are going to be different, as well as saving. There's typical or types of accounts that in Canada we don't have, and in Canada we have some that wouldn't be mentioned in here, and banking. So it's going to be a bit of a, not hit and miss, but I'm going to be choosing certain topics. I also have this filing taxes from Wonderhouse Creative. It's a little unit. I was going to have him do it this summer, but then I decided to wait, and we'll sub it in for one of the units in here. But it's where you're actually going to do your taxes. So it's Canada specific. So he'll learn how to actually do his taxes, which I think is really important. So that's going to be his math for the year. It looks quite good, and the vacation part at the end is perfect because he currently wants to go and visit Japan, and so it will help him plan out his entire trip, you know, and actually find out what the costs are and what he needs to do to prepare to go. So this is the math that he's going to be doing this year. In conjunction with wanting to go to Japan, he is currently working on his Japanese. He's almost done this book. He hasn't got much left. He works with Duolingo as well. So we'll be moving on to the second book of this before the year is out. Where is he? I think he's, yeah, somewhere around here. So I need to get him the second book, but he's going to continue working on his Japanese. Likewise, he's going to be continuing on with French. He's going to be working through the rest of this book. He's about halfway through right now. In a lot of ways, this book is way too easy for him, but because it's meant as French as a first language as opposed to French as a second language, it's a little bit more difficult. So he's going to continue that. He's fairly fluent in French. He can have a conversation. His writing is not the best, so he needs to work on this. And then, like I've said in our other videos, all of our kids do a workbook with French. They do Duolingo as well every week. And we have a rotation of 5 different things, so 5 different kids. Reading a book to a sibling, listening to French music, watching a TV episode or a movie in French, watching something on Monsieur Steve's YouTube channel, and playing a French-based game. And it just rotates every week. So that will be his French for this year. So for his social studies, again, he just didn't really know what he wanted to do for history. He likes certain parts of history, but it's not a major love of his. And he's done so much history well already. He's done, you know, a couple times through Story of the World. He's done different parts of history through his high school career. So this is a course, again from Oak Meadow, that I had seen and I thought looked really good. It's Critical Media Literacy, and it's considered a social studies. It's a 1-semester course. And what it is it's basically being savvy about journalism and about the media. Let's see if I'll show you here. So making sense of the media, deconstructing the media, and taking action. And there's a couple books that go with it. This is The Media and Me, a guide to critical media literacy for young people. And The Anatomy of Fake News, a critical news literacy education. There's also one other book by the author of Brave Writer that I'm currently working through that I may have him read as well. I think it's called Raising Critical Thinkers. We'll see how that goes, but this is going to be his social studies for the year. This is just the teacher book. Again, this was very pricey, so I'm hoping it's worth it. Likewise, when he needed to decide what to do for science this year, he really wasn't sure. He has always been interested in like dinosaurs and fossils, but I couldn't find anything that really fit his interest as a teenager. And for high school, when he started looking into archaeology as a career, you typically need like a doctorate, and he just wasn't interested in going to school for that long. So I said to him, well, you've done biology, you've done advanced biology, you've done chemistry. why don't you do physics, just to kind of cover all the bases. And he's done like an overview of it as well. And just kind of make sure you have that in your arsenal, so to speak. But he really didn't want to do math. He was tired of math. Pre-calculus, I think, did him in. He just wasn't having fun with math. And so Guest Hollow offers this conceptual physics, which is it's a math-free version of physics. It's also a literature-based one. So he's going to go ahead and do this one. This is the answer book, or the teacher's book. I just have his schedule here. If you haven't seen my review of Whirlwind History, which is by Guest Hollow, this is kind of what the schedule looks like. It's got quite the options, and you're picking and choosing. You're not doing everything. So I've gone through and just highlighted. So like there's these videos here, and I said, you know, choose 3 for the week. And then there's a small workbook. So he's going to be doing this. It has a lot of books with it. Majority of them we're going to be getting from the library, but I did buy some. This is Quantum Theory, a graphic guide. Zoom, from atoms and galaxies to blizzards and bees, how everything moves. Junk Drawer Physics, 50 awesome experiments that don't cost a thing. The Manga Guide to Electricity. Now I have to say, when my son saw this, he said, that's not manga. It doesn't read left or, you know, left to right or front to back. However, the opposite that we do. So he feels it's not true manga, but that's what it's called. There's the Manga Guide to Relativity. This is Mad About Physics, Brain Twisters, Paradoxes, and Curiosities. This was an interesting book. I was having a look through this one. And then this one is kind of one of the main books that they use, The World of Physics, From Simple Machines to Nuclear Energy. So this is kind of one of the main ones that the spine, I guess. So this is going to be an interesting course. It's going to be a new one for me and for my kids, and we'll see how that works out without having the math part. But again, just giving him that general knowledge of physics so that he has kind of, again, a general knowledge. All right, that brings us to our group studies, which we do as a family. So all children between this year grades 3 and 12, so ages 8 to 17, we do these together. So we're doing another unit from the Great World Adventure. This time we're going to do Africa. Like I've shared in my other videos, this is a very thick unit. It's almost twice the size of the other ones. So we'll see how far we get. If we have time to do a second unit, we'll be doing China and North Korea. But we'll just have to see how long the other one takes to get through. So that's our geography. We're going to be continuing with Farm Anatomy. This is by Julia Rothman. This will probably take us more than a year to finish from where we are. The kids have their books from the daily skill building, where they fill in the notes and they draw along as they go with it. So he will continue doing that. Which brings us to the last thing, which is read aloud. Usually our read alouds are geared towards the topics that our younger children are doing, so their science and their history. But I try to add some classics in, some maybe favorite books, some fun books, and I try and vary from like for younger kids to older kids because we have such a range. So these are the ones we know we're going to read. There's still some Audible books, some ones from the library, and a few I haven't chosen. Like I have a few gaps still to plug a few books in, but this is what I have for sure. So Mammals of the Small Pond, The Cabin Faced West, The Dark Frigate, Trouble's Daughter, The Story of Susanna Hutchinson, Indian Captive, Tolliver's Secret, Red Sails to Capri, Prairie Dog Town, Black Beauty, The Burgess Animal Book for Children, African Town. This one I have a note to do one or the other, but we may end up doing both. The Other Side of the Wall, or Betsy and the Emperor. And finally, the last one we will do for the year is Little House on the Prairie. This is the third book in the series. We've read the other two, and I just thought this would be a fun one to do right before summer. Just an outdoors, old time, fun book to read. So that's all the read alouds I have here. So there you go. That's what I have planned for my son for his grade 12 year. Hopefully come maybe next semester or the end of the year, I'll have an update on how this worked, how the different curriculum that we chose worked, and if I'd use them again for grade 12, along with maybe an update on what his plans are, because I know I'm curious to see where he's gonna go after and what he would like to do. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. If you'd like to see what my other children are gonna be using for curriculum, I have a video sharing my children in grade 3 and 6, and another video sharing my children in grade 9 and 10 and what they'll be using this year. Otherwise, I hope this finds you having a great day. Take care.